Oklahoma beat Missouri and only scored 17 points, and you know what? They still won by double digits. Now, this game was not the most aesthetically pleasing in the country yesterday. I know that. But look, this is football. Some of you look at a 52-48 game and you think that's beautiful, and then some of you look at 17-6 and you think it's hideous. This game got 1.5 chali, so I know it won't break the bank on ratings when they report them later this week, but I just want to tell you, Oklahoma's developing a little bit of a team identity here. Their past 3 games, think this through as I think it out loud. At Tennessee, at Alabama, Missouri. 3 ranked opponents, 2 of them on the road. They are plus 6 turnovers. They've been outgained by a combined 324 yards in those games, and yet they're 3-0. Now, I didn't say they have an offensive identity. I got no clue what they are offensively. But team identity, basically what they've become is a team that doesn't need offense to win games. Really crazy where we are with Oklahoma right now. The game played out almost precisely how we laid it out in the game preview last Tuesday. Very low scoring. That was pretty easy to see coming. Mateer had 86 passing yards except for one play. And on one play, one cap buster, I think those were my exact words, there could be one random cap buster. That's the difference. Simple drag route. Satania just takes it 87 yards. He had more passing yards on that one play than he did the rest of the day combined. And that's enough. When you hold Missouri to 70 yards rushing, that's enough. What'd they have? I think Hardy himself had over 300 on the ground against Mississippi State the week before. 70. Yeah, 2 interceptions, 4 sacks, 8 tackles for loss. Oklahoma has discovered that if you play high-level defense, you don't have to light the world on fire. This is not the Big 12 anymore. We don't have to outscore people. I do have a padlock stat for you. Paper popper of a padlock stat. Missouri had more passes than runs in this game. I'm going to let that simmer for a second, because you may think, that's not that big a padlock stat, is it? Well, if it is, if you understand the state of the Missouri offense, the way that they've been competing, if not winning games, competing in games, the path for them to win this game, I promise you, was not Eli rolling in there saying, yeah, we want to sling it all over the field this Saturday in Norman. No, no, no. But they had to, because they ended up being put in catch-up mode. They needed a plan, I said the other day, to where 20 is good enough to win the game. And you know what? They got that game. They just didn't score the 20. Held Oklahoma to 17, but they didn't score the 20. And so Missouri's defense kind of provided them with the runway. Offense couldn't take off. And that's not because they shot themselves in the foot. It's because Oklahoma is just really good. And I got to give pretty supreme credit to Brent Venables. We'll get back to the video 1 second. Do me one quick favor. Look down. Make sure you're subscribed. Most of you are. If you're not, please do so. It's the way we keep the channel free, we keep the videos coming, and we get to do college football year-round as God intended. All right, as promised, back to the video. Earlier in the year, it was very popular to be trashing Brent Venables, and some people, since it became popular all of a sudden to fire coaches in October, some people after the Texas game said, oh, here we go. Here we go. Mateer got his finger hurt, and he's back, and he looks like a shell of himself. We lost to Texas, and now what? Now we got to run this gauntlet. Now we got to leave home a couple of big games. Oh, what's going to happen? Well, imagine if I rewind to going into the Red River Shootout, you lose that game on Saturday, and I were to tell you Mateer's not going to get any better. His health, his hand, it's going to be what it is the rest of the year. And imagine me telling you that you're going to have to go through that entire stretch, Texas, at South Carolina, Ole Miss, at Tennessee, at Alabama, Missouri, and you'll come out of all that, despite lacking an offensive identity of any kind, with your college football playoff destiny in your hands the last week of the regular season. Imagine me telling you that. Mateer's not going to get any better. Offensive identity is going to be non-existent, and yet you're going to go Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Bama, Missouri, and you're going to have your fate in your hands, which they absolutely do, going into the last week. You're looking at the odds to make the college football playoff on your screen right now, courtesy of FanDuel. Oklahoma minus 420. So they are solidly favored to make the playoff. Just got to beat LSU. And I'm sure there's some path where even if they lose to LSU, but certainly if they beat LSU, they're in. Jesse, do you remember off the top of your head what the spread is in the Oklahoma LSU game this Saturday? I don't think we checked on it. All right. Jesse is efforting that as we speak. So anyway, look, 10.5. OU favored by 10.5. Win that game, they're in for sure. I'm just saying it could have gone off the rails. It hasn't been ideal. Like I had some Oklahoma folks saying, look, you gotta trash our offense a little bit on the show tonight. By the way, this is commonplace. I know our show ends up in these hype videos that teams play for the team on Fridays, and half the time the staff has asked us to say it on air. Disgusting. So yeah, man, Oklahoma would love a little spark to be lit under the offense. I don't know what's going to happen there. I just think you kind of got what you got right now. Is it a flawed team? Of course. Is it an imperfect team? Of course. A third of the team is non-functional right now, but the other 2/3 are really getting the job done. Missouri, I'm going to talk about them very briefly a little later in the show. I still think they can salvage a win to end the season, but it kind of is what it is. Bo Perbula came back yesterday. He did play. They're 7-4 right now. They could finish 8-4 if they beat Arkansas. It's not a terrible season. Injury derailed it a little bit. They had the close loss to Alabama, and then the Vanderbilt game's really where it turned. We were there for that game. You got a 4th and goal situation, and you don't make it, and you lose your quarterback on that play, and then Vandy breaks a long run, I think, on the next drive. That was the difference in that game, and that's been the difference in the season, really, because that's where the playoff hopes kind of went out the window a little bit. But still not a bad season. The Fall Don't Lie Tour has to make a stop for rivalry week. And you have probably anticipated that we will go to Ann Arbor, but you would be wrong. Because I've had my eye on this game for a little while, and I have known that we're going Thanksgiving in Columbus, and I have known that there is a university that's going to host a fairly significant college football game that Saturday that is, I'd say 45 minutes to the west. Would the stakes be on the game? Would the implications be on the game that warranted us being there? That was the only question. Well, the game is the Iron Bowl. The university is Auburn. Alabama's headed down there as, and listen to me clearly when I say this, a 3.5-point favorite. So yeah, I'd say the stakes are there. And yes, we will be there. The Fall Don't Lie Tour is headed back to Auburn for the first time in a couple of years. Looking forward to it. I spilled the beans to Kirk Sampson down there a few days ago. As best I can tell, he did not leak the information, and we can always count on Kirk. Just zip that mouth tight. It's going to be cold. It's going to be really intense. It's a night kickoff. Oh, buddy, if you don't get a little bit, antsy, if you don't like the ability to sit still a little bit when rivalry week gets here, I don't really know if you're cut out for college football. The playoffs are amazing, conference championship games are amazing, but what's going to happen in Auburn, Alabama, or Ann Arbor, Michigan Saturday, that's what it's about. That is the pinnacle of college football to me, and anything and everything that comes after that kind of comes like downstream of that. And I will not apologize.